Hello and thank you for coming to my page. My name is Lion of Hyrule. Today I would like to tell you about something pretty fantastic. The Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've already managed to beat this game, but it was pretty fantastic in itself because it's Final Fantasy by Square Enix, and Square makes pretty fantastic games as is. But it is really hard to take what is originally on a PS1 game or a PS1 version game and implicate it to a PS4 version to be able to recode and remaster everything without completely destroying and corrupting everything that we know to be Final Fantasy VII, which made Final Fantasy VII in itself a wonderful and marvelous game. But luckily, the creators at Square were able to keep the original Final Fantasy VII feel with adding a few tweaks here and there. As you know, for those of you who have played Final Fantasy VII, Cloud, our main character, is in the land of Midgar, and they are trying to protect Midgar from Shinra, from blowing it up, and they form a team known as Avalanche. And Avalanche fights against Midgar by using materia or magic. Back in 1991, when Final Fantasy VII first came out, it was a turn-based strategy game. But now, because of the advancement in technology, 25 years later, it is now a real-time battle method instead of the turn-based element. But it still has the Final Fantasy VII feel, the Final Fantasy VII characters, and the Final Fantasy VII charm, which we have all come to grow and love. You are accompanied by Aerith and Barrett, as well as by Tifa, and they have pretty much stuck to the same story, the same basic plot line, and the same basic everything with Final Fantasy VII. But instead of making it turn-based and clunky and big and with his main weapon, the Buster Sword, as long as his head, which it still is, they managed to slim it down and make it into a real-time strategy where you actually move and get to use real-time moments instead of turn-based, which means you take a turn and then the other player takes a turn. They also have managed to keep all of the same bosses, all of the same aeons, and all of the same basic elements, with a few added boss fights, the same bosses, and the exact same final boss, which is pretty fantastic in itself. So I congratulate and give my hats off to the makers of Square for making Final Fantasy VII first in 1991 and then keeping the original Final Fantasy VII charm back and bringing it back to the PlayStation 4.